Gloucester Cathedral, formerly the Cathedral Church of St. Peter and the Holy and Indivisible Trinity, in Gloucester, England, stands in the north of the city near the River Severn. It originated in 678 or 679 with the foundation of an abbey dedicated to St. Peter. History. Foundations. Wardle records that in 1058 Ealdred, Bishop of Worcester at the time, rebuilt the Church of St. Peter. The foundations of the present church were laid by Abbot Solo. Walter Foster, the abbey's historian, became its first knighted abbot in 1381. Until 1541, Gloucester lay in the See of Worcester, but the separate see was then constituted, with John Wakeman, last abbot of Tewkesbury, as its first bishop. The diocese covers the greater part of Gloucestershire, with small parts of Herefordshire and Wiltshire. The cathedral has a stained glass window containing the earliest images of golf. This dates from 1350, over 300 years earlier than the earliest image of golf from Scotland. There is also a carved image of people playing a ball game, believed by some to be one of the earliest images of medieval football. Construction and architecture. The cathedral, built as the Abbey Church, consists of a Norman nucleus, with additions in every style of Gothic architecture. It is 420 feet long, and 144 feet wide, with a fine central tower of the 15th century rising to the height of 225 feet and topped by 4 delicate pinnacles, a famous landmark. The nave is massive Norman with an early English roof. The crypt, under the choir, aisles and chapels, is Norman, as is the chapter house. The crypt is one of the 4 absidal cathedral crypts in England, the others being at Worcester, Winchester and Canterbury. The south porch is in the Perpendicular style, with a fan-vaulted roof, as also is the north transept, the south being transitional decorated Gothic. The choir has Perpendicular tracery of a Norman work, with an apsidal chapel on each side. The choir vaulting is particularly rich. The late decorated east window is partly filled with surviving medieval stained glass. Between the apsidal chapels is a Cross-Lady chapel, and north of the nave the cloisters. The carrels are stalls for the monks' study and writing lying to the south. The cloisters at Gloucester are the earliest surviving fan vaults, having been designed between 1351 and 1377 by Thomas de Canterbury. The most notable monument is the canopied shrine of King Edward II of England, who was murdered at nearby Berkeley Castle. The building and sanctuary were enriched by the visits of pilgrims to this shrine. In a side chapel is a monument in coloured bog oak of Robert Curthose, eldest son of William the Conqueror and a great benefactor of the abbey, who was interred there. Monuments of Bishop Warburton and Dr. Edward Jenner are also worthy of note. Between 1873 and 1890, and in 1897, the cathedral was extensively restored by George Gilbert Scott. Ms. records. The cathedral has 46 14th-century Ms. records and 12 19th-century replacements by Gilbert Scott. Both types have a wide range of subject matter: mythology, everyday occurrences, religious symbolism and folklore. Clergy: Dean Stephen Lake, Canon Precentor vacant, Canon Pastor Celia Thompson, Archdeacon of Gloucester Jackie Searle, Diocesan Canon Nicky Arthy, Director of Mission and Ministry Andrew Braddock. Music. Organ. Details of the organ from the National Pipe Organ Register. Organists. In 1582, Robert Lichfield is recorded as the organist of Gloucester Cathedral. Notable among the organists are composers and choral conductors of the Three Choirs Festival: Herbert Brewer, Herbert Sumption and John Sanders. Three Choirs Festival, an annual musical festival. The Three Choirs Festival is hosted by turns in this cathedral and those of Worcester and Hereford in rotation. The Three Choirs is the oldest annual musical festival in the world. 3 choirs, festival, burials and monuments. Gloucester Cathedral has a large collection of funerary monuments from the Middle Ages to the present. Notable people buried at Gloucester Cathedral include Osric, King of the Hwicce, Robert Curthose, eldest son of William the Conqueror, Edward II of England, 7th Plantagenet King of England, John Wakeman, last Abbot of Tewkesbury and first Bishop of Gloucester, James Brooks, Bishop of Gloucester, Richard Cheney, Bishop of Gloucester, John Bullingham, Bishop of Gloucester, members of the Hyde family from the 17th and 18th centuries, whose remains were discovered accidentally in November 2015, William Nicholson, Bishop of Gloucester, Martin Benson, Bishop of Gloucester, Richard Patay, landowner and Member of Parliament for Gloucester, Thomas Macon Mercer, who was Mayor of Gloucester 3 times and 1-time Member of Parliament for the city, Dorothea Beale, Principal of the Cheltenham Ladies' College, educational reformer and suffragist, Ralph Bigland, Garter, Principal King of Arms, Miles Nightingale, Army General, Albert Mansbridge, pioneer of adult education in Britain, John Yeats, Bishop of Gloucester 1975 to 1992. Film and TV location. Harry Potter films. The cathedral has been used as a location for filming the first, second and sixth Harry Potter films. Filming caused some controversy amongst those who suggest that the theme of the films was unsuitable for a church. Doctor Who. In 2008, the cathedral was used by BBC Wales as a location for the Doctor Who Christmas special, The Hollow Crown. The cathedral was used as a filming location in the BBC's series The Hollow Crown. Wolf Hall. The interior of the cathedral represented the court of another king, Henry VIII, in the BBC's adaptation of Hilary Mantle's Wolf Hall, first broadcast in January 2015. Sherlock. In 2015, the cathedral was used as a location to film Sherlock. Academic use. Degree ceremonies of the University of Gloucestershire and the University of the West of England both take place at the cathedral. The cathedral is also used during school term time as the venue for assemblies by the King's School, Gloucester, and for events by the High School for Girls, the Crypt Grammar School for Boys and Ribston Hall High School. Timeline. 678 to 9. A small religious community was founded in Saxon times by Osric of the Hwicce. His sister Kinnaburga was the first abbess. 1017 secular priests expelled the monastery given to Benedictine monks. 1072 Serlo, the first Norman abbot appointed to the almost defunct monastery by William I. 1089 foundation stone of the new abbey church laid by Robert de Lossinger, Bishop of Hereford. 1100 consecration of St. Peter's Abbey. 1216 first coronation of King Henry III. 1327 burial of King Edward II. 1331 perpendicular remodeling of the choir. 1373 great cloister begun by Abbot Horton, completed by Abbot Frauster. 1420 West End rebuilt by Abbot Morwend. 1450 Tower begun by Abbot Sabrock, completed by Robert Tully. 1470 Lady Chapel rebuilt by Abbot Hanley, completed by Abbot Farley. 1540 Dissolution of the Abbey. 1541 refounded as a cathedral by King Henry VIII. 1616–21 William Laud holds the office of Dean of Gloucester. 1649–60 Abolition of Dean and Chapter reinstated by Charles II. 1735–52 Martin Benson, Bishop of Gloucester, carried out major repairs and alterations to the cathedral. 1847–73 Beginning of extensive Victorian restoration work. 1953 major appeal for the restoration of the cathedral, renewed. 1968 cathedral largely re-roofed and other major work completed. 1989 900th anniversary appeal. 1994 restoration of tower completed. 2000 celebration of the Novecentennial of the consecration of St. Peter's Abbey.